What are the best products to sell on Amazon in 2024? That is one of the questions that I'm getting asked a lot at the moment, so I wanted to address it in this video. So it's that time of year again when a lot of people finally take action and take the early steps in starting their own business. Now, some people will be choosing Amazon FBA as a vehicle for starting a business that will hopefully go on to change their life. But what also happens at this point is that many new sellers are excited about starting their own business and are so eager to get things moving that sometimes or often they make a poor product selection. So in this video, I want to help you avoid those mistakes so that you can pick a product that's going to give you a really, really good chance of success. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of the things you need to avoid when choosing a product. There's no point me just giving you a list of 20 or 50 good products to pick, as that's not going to make you a good seller. You need to understand why you're selling those products and not selling other products that you're going to come across. So I'm going to give you a list of things that you need to avoid when looking at products on Amazon. And if the product you found avoids all of these things, then it's definitely a product for you to look into a bit further. And later on in the video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to analyze that further to make sure you're making the right choice for you and your individual circumstances. So I'm going to bring up a very short PowerPoint presentation now. It is a single slide long, so let me hide the webcam so you guys can see. Actually, so I put the webcam back on and I make myself smaller in the corner. There we go, that's better. You guys can actually see me now. Right, so products to avoid selling on Amazon for beginners. If you stick with me for the next 5 minutes or so, it's going to give you a huge advantage when you come to choosing the first product for your Amazon FBA business. Number one, I want you to avoid products with variations. Now, this entire list, I'm not saying never sell these products. I'm just saying as a new seller, this is going to introduce additional steps or additional hurdles or additional difficulties that you have to overcome. And the whole way that I approach Amazon FBA is to keep things as simple as possible. So by avoiding these products, it's going to simplify the process for you and hopefully increase the chances of success. So the first thing to do is avoid products with variations. And the main reason for this is if you're selling a product with variations, you're going to have to guess how well each variation is selling. So that's going to make ordering the correct amount of inventory very, very difficult to predict. Now, you can dive into some of the existing listings and try to make a best guess, but it's just introducing an additional unknown that you don't have to deal with. There are millions of products on Amazon that don't have variations. So just pick a product without variations because it will keep things easier for you. I also want you to avoid large and or heavy products. And the reason for this is it's going to increase your financial risk. Number one, you're going to have to pay a lot more for freight to actually get the goods from China to the Amazon fulfillment centers. And number two, on all of the orders that you sell and that Amazon fulfill for you, the fees for large and heavy products are going to be very, very high. So that's going to eat into your profit margin. So try to avoid large and heavy products for your first product. The next type of product to avoid is seasonal products. Now, I don't mind if a product has a seasonal peak, providing the demand is there throughout the rest of the year. The key thing to keep in mind is that when you're doing analysis, you need to ensure you are fully aware that at the time of the analysis, what period or what part of the cycle you are in when you're doing that analysis. So at the moment, it's January 2024. If you're doing analysis on any products that are seasonal, they're going to have inflated figures at the moment. So check the search volume history and the individual product history, which you can do using X-ray from Helium 10, and you'll be able to see how those products sell throughout the year. To give you an example, the product that I'm launching at the moment, I did the product research 2 or 3 months ago before the Christmas pickup in traffic, and demand then was about 10 times lower. So I know there's been a big peak during Q4, and I'm not launching during Q4 as I don't want to try and launch a product when competition are doing huge numbers of sales. I'm going to wait till February or March when the sales drop right back down. Then it's a lot easier for me to compete with. And then I'll just stock up more for next Q4. So seasonal products, the key thing is always to be aware of where you are in the cycle when you're doing the analysis, and also pick products that sell well throughout the year. For example, if you pick something like a picnic blanket, it only sells well during the summer months, whereas a product that does well during Q4 may still do well throughout the rest of the year. So avoid products that are completely seasonal, but certainly products that sell well throughout the year and have seasonal peaks, that is absolutely fine. The next one to avoid is obvious, which is fad products. A recent example would have been something like a fidget spinner. These products come and go. You never know how much demand there is going to be and how long the fad is going to last and how much competition is suddenly going to arrive. So avoid fad products. Also avoid low value products. And I don't mean the actual cost of the product from the supplier. I mean the price that you are selling it at. As a new seller, I would recommend an absolute minimum selling price of £15. But ideally, if you can be selling at £20 or above, that would give you a bit more margin to work with. And the reason for that is you're going to need a decent margin to invest on pay-per-click advertising. And low value products that you may be selling for a tenner, even if you're selling at a 30% margin, that's only £3 of profit to work with. If you're selling at £20 plus, that's £6 to £7 per unit that you can invest in PPC before you start to make a small loss or you reach the break-even point. So I avoid low value products when I'm selling on Amazon, and I recommend new sellers do the same as well. Avoid dangerous goods and hazardous materials, or products that contain hazardous materials. Now, you can just Google this, and Amazon, there's plenty of lists of these products available on Google direct from Amazon. An example would be products that contain a battery. So there's lots of different products that will fall under these categories. I recommend doing your own research. I'm not saying you can't sell hazardous or dangerous goods on Amazon, but there are additional hoops to jump through, and you need to be aware of what you are getting into. Next up is fragile products. For obvious reasons, products can get broken very easily. That's going to lead to a high return rate, which is going to cost you a lot of money. And it's also very hard to get ranked well for a product that has a high return rate as well. So avoid fragile products. And that also applies to sizing reliant products. So things like clothes, although you can sell them at a particular size, that doesn't mean it's going to fit everyone. So things like clothing and footwear, they have super high return rates, and you don't want to be dealing with that. So avoid any sort of type of product that is sizing reliant, especially one where it's a customer having to judge. So for example, they're buying a harness for their dog or something. You're just going to get so many returns. So avoid products of that type. Avoid products that are either topical or ingestible. So anything you put on your skin or anything you consume and eat or drink, those are just high-risk products that you do not want to be selling on Amazon. Adult items. Now, this is an interesting one because I don't necessarily have an issue with someone selling adult items. It's just the fact you can't use Amazon ads to promote adult items on Amazon. So I know someone, for example, that was selling party banners, and one of them had kind of an adult content because it was for adult parties, and they couldn't use PPC to launch their product. So selling adult items on Amazon is very, very difficult and best avoided. This next one, I wouldn't say is overly important. As with the right supplier, it shouldn't really be a major issue, but any product that requires CE markings or UKCA, which is the equivalent of CE markings in the UK, all it means is you need to make sure that your supplier can provide those certificates, so that if Amazon ever asks you for them, that you can provide them. The best way to check this is just ask your supplier to provide a copy of their certificates before you place your bulk order. Then finally, avoid copycat products. Now, you're probably thinking, well, all of the products we're selling on Amazon are copycat products. Yes, we are taking a product that sells well, but remember, we're customizing it. We're not just putting our own brand in it. We're taking that product and we are making it better in one of many different ways. And I've got videos recently which talk about differentiation, but don't just sell an identical product to someone else. Otherwise, you'll end up in a price war, and you're never going to win a price war against a Chinese suppliers. Now you're aware of all of the products you need to avoid. You need to understand how to analyze the actual products you found to see whether they offer a viable opportunity. And I'm going to pop up a video now which talks you through the exact process that I use to find and analyze products. And I'll see you guys over there.